Hello, my fellow Inside Out sock seams. I'm Mr. Church. Today I'm going to be looking at the Tool Shed bundle from the Atom Shop. I'm also going to be looking at the new free item for Fall at First members and the Fall Weather Machine. I'll also take a quick look at the After the Hunt bundle as well, which is a bunch of repeat items put together. Now, the Fall Tool Shed bundle has the Fall Shrub, the Fall Elm Trees, the Tool Shed, the Skeleton Wheelbarrow, the Red Wooden Backyard Chair, and the Mounted Head Jackalope. As you can see, those are the images that line up with a list of items. The Jackalope image, pretty funny. It's just a pile of different heads, so you can't tell what it is. Really good marketing. That's so good. Let's look at the first item here. We have the Fall Elm Trees. There's actually several trees here. As you can see, there's a bunch of different sizes of elm tree. They're all fall dead. They don't have leaves in them. As you can see, they bulldoze a massive amount of ground underneath them, which is idiotic in my opinion, and all the trees have done this. It's very fucking annoying when you're trying to build foliage, and your foliage removes your foliage. I think that that's pretty stupid, if you ask me. I'm not sure why this happens. I can understand why you would want, like, a foundation to bulldoze so you don't have grass coming through it, which we still do, but I don't understand the logic of bulldozing around a tree. For example. But this is what they look like. Now, Vapid Valentine, I was talking to her a little bit, and she said that she likes to use these two small ones because they do bulldoze the least amount, but as you can see, they do still bulldoze, which is pretty annoying. The other repeat item in this new bundle is the Skeleton Wheelbarrow. Now, this was, I believe, from a scoreboard in Days of Yore, but I actually use this item quite a bit. I think it's pretty cool. It's got a lot of good detail, rustiness, dead bodies, what could go wrong. Something I like to do with it is I'll put different stuff, just kind of set it on top of it, and then if you use the pressure plate, you can merge that down in so it looks like it's holding those items if you don't want it to have bones in it. You're still going to see a few bones sticking out, but it's a good way to use it, and you can kind of fit it into more themed builds if you didn't necessarily want a dead body in your build. The next thing in the bundle is the Fall Shrub. Now, this also is going to bulldoze stuff when you place it down. Why wouldn't it? It's grass, so you don't want grass touching it. It's kind of like your peas and your carrots touching each other. Pretty disgusting. But I do like that with this shrub, you can kind of lift it and lower it. So that kind of helps you give it different variations, so it doesn't look like the same exact item repeated. If you have to cover a larger surface area, you can kind of lift it and lower it, which not all the grasses allow you to do, so that's pretty good, and I enjoy that about it. The Mounted Jackalope is, I guess it's kind of cute. I don't really use mounted heads very often in my builds, but one thing I did notice about it is the back placard, or whatever you call it, is a completely different wood than the other placards for all the other mounted head plans that we've gotten, including newer ones like the Ooga head and such like that. So I'm not really sure what's going on with that. If they just forgot that that's what or if they just don't want it to match because it's special. I don't know. But that's that. If you wanted to buy that, there it is. Wow. The Backyard Chair, this is like a red chair, and you just sit in it. You can, sit in it. Your character can interact with it, and then you sit down. Wow. That's, well, that's pretty good. And the next item is the thing you've been waiting for, which is the Tool Shed Prefab. Now, this thing is on a block of concrete, but before I get into that rant, it's very hard to place this down. I don't know why. This is a very, very level place. That's why I picked it to do this video, and I still had trouble placing this down. So I don't know what's wrong with it, but it's really hard to place it, which is terrible, and it makes it so you can barely put it down where you want to. You can only build 2 of them for some reason, not sure why, but it does look pretty good. The door is really good, and the door might be a reason to get it, but a little bit more on the door later. Inside it has some I don't know. I guess I like the detail of the brokenage of the walls, and you have the rafters overhead. Again, the concrete underneath is moronic. Now, in my last Atom Shop review video, I mentioned how happy I was that they seem to be moving away from the blocks, the slabs of concrete, because with the train prefab, they had like poles and posts, which could be lifted and lowered, and I said, oh, I think they're not going to do this stupid stuff. I see, I was an idiot, because immediately they gave us this, which has a slab of concrete underneath it. Why would an old wooden shack have a concrete base? I've never seen that in my life. That's idiotic. That's moronic. You know what I mean? If there's ever going to be a building that's not going to have a sturdy, strong foundation, what do you think it would be, like a hunting shack kind of thing? I mean, you have pieces of shit for the roof, but you were able to pour perfectly flat and square concrete with nice concrete steps going up to it? Come on. That is so stupid. I hate it. This is what it looks like burned, though, and obviously not much of it changed. You get an unrealistic broken hole in the roof, an unrealistic broken hole on the backside here. The rafters are intact. I don't know, the broken texture on this is kind of underwhelming, but that's fine. One thing, though, that I really think is awesome about this prefab, and in my opinion, a reason to get the prefab, whether you get the bundle or not, is when you burn the door, it looks like this. This is like a really, really awesome burn texture. Now, you do have these hinges floating here, like ghostly vestiges. What's the word? And so you might want to like use this near where you would have a wall, so you can kind of hide those. But you can hide them with other objects. You can walk through them. They're not actually physically there. But yeah, this is just a really, really cool broken texture, and I really enjoy that. You can power this prefab up, and what that means is when you place items inside it, basically, they're going to be powered. Like a light will be powered up. But you don't actually need to do that and connect this up if you have the utility box generators, because those function as conduits, and so they give off residual power. Anything around it will be powered automatically, so you don't need to power it manually. So if you have those boxes, you don't need to use this conduit on the edge. That's just for if you have just the normal generators and whatnot. Because some people do like to know, you can float this prefab with the door method, which allows you to snap it to a floating door and pick it up out of the ground. You can use this method also to sink the prefab low into the ground. And it's just, wow, it's beautiful. Doesn't that look good? Now let's look at the fall weather machine. The fall weather machine is not included in the fall tool shed bundle, and it is 1,200 fucking atoms, which is a lot. Now, when you place it down, it kind of makes everything orange, and you have these nice little leaves falling from the sky, which I do like that. It's a nice detail. But it kind of makes everything this weird orange color, which I'm unsure about. As you can see, in the forest, it has this kind of hazy orange look to it. And in the ash heap, it looks even more orange for some reason. I don't know. And so another thing that I looked at is at night, it makes everything extremely bright, which is, in my opinion, a negative for it. So if you want to build something in the fall and have like a spookiness to it, and the fall leaves falling down, well, you're going to be out of luck, because that's not what you can do with this bundle. This bundle makes everything so bright. As you can see, when I walk outside of my camp radius, you can watch the light actually like shut off, like the light switch got flipped, to show you how dark it is in the world right now, and yet it was bright as day in my camp because of this weather machine. So I wouldn't recommend this for this price. Honestly, if you like the leaves, that's fine. You can do whatever you want with the money that God gave you when you robbed the bank last night. But I don't really think, in my opinion, that it was worth it. So rest in peace, my savings. Speaking of rest in peace, my savings, the next item that I want to look at is the free item, the Orthodontist 45, which is, in my opinion, one of the coolest items that they've added to the shop in a very long time, and it's free for Fallout First members. Now, you can place as many of these as you want, unlike the radio that you can only place 5, and when you push play on it, there's a bunch of different things that can play, I found, and it seems, I don't think it's randomized, I think it plays them in an order, but there was at least 5 different things that I heard, including a advertisement for a drama, and a couple of audio dramas, including one that took place in Nuka World, and then I also heard some bastardized version of the Atom Shop music, which I don't want to play because I'll get demonetized. But it's pretty interesting, the stuff that it plays, and even if you don't like what it's playing, it just is an all-around very awesome-looking item, and I wish I had had it when I made my last camp, which if you haven't checked out, by the way, I do have a camp video on it, but I made the buyer's house from Stranger Things, and I had to handcraft Jonathan's record player, but I could have used this as a stand-in if I had had it. I don't know why there's it sounds like there's radio commercials playing on the record that I'm playing. But let's not get bogged down with who's making what decisions at Bethesda Gaming Studios. That is all the new stuff, and if I were to give a review on the items, I would say that if you don't have the Elm Trees yet, they're pretty cool. The wheelbarrow's pretty nice too for like kind of rubbish builds. The fall shrub, I could take it or leave it because I have a bunch of other shrubs out already. I don't give a fuck about the jackalope. I apologize for those of you who love jackalopes so much. The chair, whatever. My arms aren't that big, so I don't need it. And the tool shed, I don't care about, but the door on it, I love. So, personally, would I get the whole bundle? I already did. Fuck. But if I didn't have done that, and I went back in the past, I probably bought just the prefab, potentially, just so I could have the door. And the prefab itself is fine, I guess, but I don't... It's, like, fine, you know? But you can't place it down, so it's kind of hard to justify owning it. You know what I mean? In the fall weather, I don't recommend getting, for the reasons I listed. I think that there's better fall vibe weather machines, like even the Atlantic City one is better in my opinion, if you're looking for something a little spooky or fallish. Now, real quickly, I want to give a quick rundown on the After the Hunt bundle, which is in the Atom Shop too. These are all repeat items. They're all items that I owned already. But the stuff in it, it's 1,400 atoms, is the Curio's sign, which looks like this. You've got the herringbone foundation, walnut wallpaper, and you've got the violin chair. And when I sit down and play it, this is just, yeah, this is great. And then you have the Radstag field dressing, which is a collector resource. You can lock it, and it bulldozes grass underneath it. I believe it collects Radstag meat. I don't know if it collects other meat. You guys can let me know in the comments. I don't ever build it because it's, guys, I mean, it's like a rotten deer. So that's, oh, and also this emote comes with it, which is the one more time emote, which for some reason is under the follow me selection. But that is what is in the After the Hunt bundle. If you like what you've seen in this video, please subscribe because I'll be doing some more stuff later. And if you liked the video, consider liking it, because that likes the video better. If you guys aren't in the Discord already, it's a really great community, lots of cool stuff, places to share your camp builds, as well as find other people to play with and laugh at, like myself. And I also have a Patreon if you guys are interested in looking for a more direct way to waste your money than buying the Toolshed bundle. And on that note, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to my patrons and channel members who have decided to waste their money instead of buying the Toolshed bundle. And thank you guys so much for your support. I really do appreciate it. And the support that you give me allows me to just absolutely waste every cent that I have to make these videos for your viewing entertainment. So thank you guys so much. See you guys in the next video.